Hi, this is Dr. Ron Hyber. With the help of my assistant Amy Brand, we'll show you how to make simplified indirect bonding trays. The first step is to take accurate impressions and make bubble-free models. Then prepare the models by removing the imperfections. Here, Amy is removing small imperfections in the model in preparation for attaching our brackets. To make the bonding tray fabrication easier, we're going to trim the model so that we can closely adapt the tray to the model surface. Next, we allow the tray to dry, or if we're in a hurry, we'll use our toaster oven to dry the model. We next mark the bracket positions on the models using a fine lead pencil. And we mark both the facial axis of the tooth and on up, marking the root surface on the model. This makes placement of the bracket much easier. We'll mark both the upper and the lower models. And then we need to determine the position of the bracket using the measurements of the upper central incisors. In this case, the central incisor is 10 millimeters, and we'll use half that distance, 5 millimeters, in order to place the central bracket in the center of the tooth. Here's the Zahn gauge marking the central incisors. The central and the cuspids are both placed at 5 millimeters. The laterals are placed at 4.5 millimeters. The lower arch, because of the shorter lower incisors, we're using a 4 millimeter mark on the teeth. Be sure to hold the Zahn gauge at a 90-degree angle to the tooth surface. The canines are marked at 4.5 millimeters. We now follow the method of Dr. John Kalanchi in marking the bicuspids and the molars in order to determine bracket height. This is done by first marking the marginal ridges and then drawing a line across the facial surface at the level of the marginal ridge for the molars, first and second bicuspids. We then mark 2.5 millimeters for the placement of the molar tooth, and then we record the difference between the marginal ridge and the 2.5 millimeter mark. We transfer that difference to both the bicuspids. Next, we apply a thin coat of separating medium to the models to facilitate the removal of the brackets. We use a full-strength single coat method. It provides easy removal and it saves us a little bit of time while the separating medium dries. The seventh step is placing the brackets on the model, and this is very critical. It is important that we place the brackets in the positions marked on the model. We first wet the bracket surface with sealant, and then we use our bonding agent on the bracket and place it on the model. Care must be taken in placing the bracket in the correct position, and it's very important to remove any flash around the bracket. We use a periodontal instrument, a probe, to help position the brackets. This allows us to line up with the two scribe lines on the model, and in addition, it is very helpful in setting brackets at the correct height on similar teeth, central incisors in this instance. Step 8 is to cure the brackets. You can use a curing light, as we do in our office, or you can use one of the halogen curing machines available on the market. If you're using a curing light, be sure to use a shield to protect your eyes. Step 9 is to place the wax ropes around the model. Here, Amy is going to place the wax ropes at the level of the gingival margins. Wrap it entirely around the model, not contacting the brackets, and along the palatal surface of the upper teeth in order to provide a positive stop for our silicone tray material. Here's the upper model with the wax adapted to it. The same is done for the lower model, wrapping the wax closely to the teeth controls the amount of Memicil 2 that is used to construct the tray. It minimizes finishing the tray after the silicone material has a chance to set. In step 10, we put Emiluma as a dot over each bracket or two. We only want to use a small amount of Emiluma. Emiluma is a soft material, and we want the bulk of the tray to be made up of Memicil, which is a bit stiffer and provides for a more rigid tray. You can see to add just a dot of the Emiluma over each bracket. With the working time of Emiluma, it is possible to put Emiluma over both the upper and the lower trays at the same time. Then come back and create the rest of the tray with Memicil. Step 11, we fill in the rest of the tray with Memosil 2. This is a little stiffer material, has a slight bluish color to it, and it's expressed across the entire surface. It has a working time of about 3 or 4 minutes. So you need to work quickly in order to construct the rest of the tray. Watch how Amy puts the material first on the buccal surface, then across the occlusal. Making sure that she fills in any areas that appear to be slightly void of material. Again, with the working time, after you become experienced making trays, you can make 2 trays in the same amount of time using first the Emiluma and then the Memosil.